Start recording. Okay, so I should be live on YouTube.
Stand up and clap.
There it is, I'm live. That is a promo.
Straight up, I'm serious.
So I'm going live. You can
Stand up and clap.
I want to get to
Straight up, I'm serious.
we're live. And it's just our promo running. Yay. Congratulations, boss lady.
Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious.
Yes, and also like the which one? What are you talking about? Yes, please.
Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious. Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious.
Oh, a grip on the phone? Somebody who was up
Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious.
So if I watch live now, if I just got my number.
Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious. Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious. clap
And
loud.
then I can give a proper co-host experience.
Stand up and clap.
It might be one.
Well, we are live
Straight
at
up, I'm
5 p.m.
serious.
on Thursday, and we understand that shit happens. And I knew that we knew that you were going to be airport bound when the
Clap,
show
clap
started.
loud.
When we first scheduled this trip,
Stand up and
I
clap.
thought that I had plenty of time.
Straight up, I'm serious.
To do this, and it turns out I read the time wrong on my ticket.
Clap,
Different
clap
time
loud.
zone and all that. So I ended up having
Stand up and
to
clap.
go a little early.
Straight
Well,
up, I'm
that's perfectly
serious.
okay. We're glad you are. We have a few viewers. I think we have 2 or 3 viewers at present, and so hopefully that will grow.
Clap, clap
and
loud.
we're recording. We're live. Like we said, we would be at 5 p.m.
Stand up and
so
clap.
are you in a position, Brian, where you can
Straight up, I'm serious.
engage with me? I know you have your baby in tow and your wife.
I can talk to you as I'm walking. It won't be
Clap,
terribly
clap loud.
until I need to sit down and be able to put my computer
Stand up and clap.
But I can talk while walking.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Hey, did you realize? Hang on just a second. So I left my phone
Clap, clap loud.
on the entire time I went through security.
Stand up and clap.
The catch going through the machine and all that.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Yeah, well, there's some audio was being picked up, I was told. But it may be that we're having video issues at the moment.
Clap, clap
We'll
loud.
just keep going because this is the podcast.
Stand up and clap.
Live wherever podcasts are available. It's
Straight up, I'm serious.
Video feed on YouTube may be blanked out, but we're going to go for it. This is our first show, ladies and
Clap,
gentlemen.
clap loud.
This is the King-Abrams show. This is the King. This is
Stand
the
up
show
and
with
clap.
myself, Samantha Abrams. I'm a comedian and
Straight
a
up, I'm
science
serious.
author, as well as Dr. Brian King, who's a neuroscientist, psychologist, comedian, and also a
Clap,
science
clap loud.
author. Pick apart sexuality.
Stand up and clap.
Currently traveling.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Vegas, a long 3-day trip in Vegas.
Right, you've been in Vegas. I met you in Vegas on Tuesday.
Clap,
That was
clap loud.
Thursday. I traveled into Vegas in the morning.
Stand up and
we
clap.
did some work for about 3 or 4 hours, and then I
Straight up,
traveled
I'm
right back to
serious.
Los Angeles.
I think tired. Were you okay when you got back?
I was pretty tired, and I had a long
Clap,
day to follow
clap loud.
today, but you know, my handle is I overthrew it for a reason.
Stand up and clap.
So I went hard and I got everything ready, and we are here, and I can't tell if the audience can see us or not, but I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, so this
That's fine.
the King-Abrams show
Clap,
is a place
clap
where
loud.
you listen to
Stand up and clap.
and now I have a call coming in, of course.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Of course I have a call coming in. And this is our IT guy, by the way, calling in.
Clap, clap
This is
loud.
Tim Turner. This is our IT guy, and Tim,
Stand
you're
up
on
and
live
clap.
with us. What's up?
Your music.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Your music is way too loud.
Okay, I didn't know the music was playing. Thank you. I just turned it off. Now you shouldn't hear it anymore. Give it a couple seconds. Hey, this is what it is,
All right.
people.
I'll let you know when it drops out.
This is what it is, people.
I
Everybody
feel-
kept saying, just go for it. Just do the podcast. And I was like, I got to get ready first. And here I am, as ready as rice. And we're still having problems. But oh well. Here we are. We're ready to talk about sex. Thank you, IT guy. We'll talk to you next time.
I feel like every first show is going to have difficulties, but I never expected our first show to be conducted while I was walking through an airline terminal.
Well, it's all good, and I think it shows character and it shows commitment, and I'm glad you're here. So we should just get this damn thing started. The title of our show tonight, guys, is called Married,
Hell yeah.
Single versus Relationship Sex, because there is a difference, which we're going to define. And then we're going to talk about what the popular culture says about it, what science says about it, and hopefully we can make you laugh along the way. So up first, so listen, what does it mean? Married sex, relationship sex, single sex? I'm going to give you my take, and then I want you to see which, you tell me if you agree. Married sex is connected sex, right? That means you've got intimacy, you've got love, you've got eye contact, and all kinds of intimate touch and exploration and uninhibited sex. But a lot of people
Right.
a lot of people say that their married sex is either bad sex or they're not having it at all. And according to an article that was published in 2014 about a psychiatric behavior, sexual behavior, apparently married people are claiming that they are sexually satisfied. And they asked 140 married women, right? These are women that are employed at an educational and medical center. And so Nikki Carr, our guest this evening, just crawled behind me. She had to pass behind me, and she didn't walk, she crawled. So apparently married women say that they're having satisfied sex. But I got to tell you, I was married once. I was married for just about 8 years, and I was under the category of no sex. We barely had sex. And I think a lot of people talk about the sex sort of waning off in marriage after, 6 or 7 years, maybe somewhere around the 7-year itch. But yeah, for the full-on 8 years, I barely had sex with my husband. We squeezed 2 kids out of it. But I was under that category. And listen, I know you, and I met your wife, Sarah, the other day, who you guys are total hippies, and I love you both. Oh, man. Oh, my. I suspect you guys are having absolute great sex.
It's the thing is, that's a difficult question to answer, really. I can answer as a person. I can answer as a psychologist. I can answer as in many different ways. But let me give you the psychologist perspective first. All right. So, basically speaking, people do report greater levels of intimacy with a regular partner, however you might define it. For the purposes of a lot of research, they usually use married versus single.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to break people into different categories. But certainly somebody who's single and has had the same partner for 10 years qualifies to have an opinion very similar to somebody who's married. In fact, I would argue that the single person who's had the same partner for 10 years is probably getting to the question better.
I don't know if you're breaking up. I can hear something, but I can't hear your voice. Yeah, but I agree with what you're saying. If you're single and you just haven't married yet, but you've been together for 10 years or more, then I think you're having the same experience. But what surprises me about this article, by the way, which out of 140 married women, 56% of them expressed that they were extremely satisfied, and only 0.7, less than 1%, were dissatisfied. And I just wonder who they're asking. I wonder who they're asking, where these people live, because everyone that I know personally, who I talk about this issue with, has some issues having sex as a married person. So it would be interesting.
I felt like I lost you while
You
I
did.
was talking.
You did.
Okay, but I just actually connected to the Wi-Fi at the airport, so I should have a much smoother experience from this point forward, unless my phone runs out of battery. But anyways, I forget what I was saying when I lost you, but I was referring to how researchers define single and married. Basically, it's really difficult. What you really want to get at is what's the advantage of having a long-term partner versus what's the advantage of remaining open to other experiences. And that could be, married people. They have multiple. They're still open. Some married people are still open to experiences with other people. They have open relationships, all kinds of different definitions of married. And then there are some single people who have had the same partner for a decade. So I don't like that distinction between the two, but it's easy for research. What we're getting at is there an advantage to having a long-term partner? Yes, of course there is. Somebody gets to know you. Somebody understands how you work, knows what you like, and so forth. Is there a disadvantage? Absolutely, there's a disadvantage.
Right. Why do people stop having sex as a man? Like, that sounds all great, right? Sure, the article, expose a link between intimacy and sexual satisfaction. That makes sense, especially for females. And they were asking females, right? When women feel connected to the person that we're having sex with, it feels better. It's kind of like, if you're at a club and your crush is there, but then some strange guy accidentally rubs up against you, it's like, ew, but let your crush do it, and like, you gotta go change your panties now. So, right, if you like the guy, if you're into him, he's your husband or your longtime boyfriend, I understand how sex could get better, but what happens in marriages? Why do people stop having sex? Why did I go 8 years barely ever getting laid? I mean, seriously, I never had a problem getting laid until I got married.
So when you're a single person and you just meet somebody new, or there's an urgency to having sex with that person because the time is limited. When you're
is that for real?
It is. When you've been with somebody for a long period of time and you're pretty sure they're going to be there tomorrow, then, when you're like, well, I could have sex or I could go to sleep because I got to work tomorrow, you're more likely to choose to sleep. And so long-term married couples, they fall into that pattern. They're like, well, we got to work, we got to do this, we got to do that. Oh, it's been a long day. I just want to relax. And so they start making that choice because they can do it anytime. It's kind of like I used to say, I'm originally from New York City. And I used to use this example all the time with people. I would say that when I lived in New York, I never went to the Statue of Liberty, And people say, well, you never went to Statue of Liberty? That's weird. And it's like, well, when you live there, you have the impression that you can do it anytime, And it's like, I can go to Statue of Liberty whenever I want. So you keep putting it off. And then ultimately you find out, whoa, I've been with this city for 8 years and I haven't seen the Statue of Liberty naked once, So people are like that. They're like that with every aspect of their life. You live in Los Angeles, and I'm sure there's things in LA that people neglect, locally. They're like, I could do that anytime. I could climb up to the Hollywood sign anytime I want, or I can go to, and so they don't do it. And then, and the same thing is true with a relationship. We take it for granted that it's going to be there tomorrow. And so we decide, well, I could really use a couple extra hours of sleep. What we really should be deciding is, well, I probably need to strengthen and maintain the bond that I have with this other human being who I'm choosing to spend my life with. But we don't see it that way. We just see it as opportunistic and whether or not this is an urgent need.
Right. That makes me think of a study that I read. B.F. Skinner, actually, he was a behavioral psychologist, famous for creating what we call the Skinner box, which is when you put an animal or rodent in a box and you give him a button to push, and if he pushes the button, a pellet of food comes out. And there was a particular experiment where they would place the rat or whatever rodent in the box, and then there would be a button, and if he would, hungry mouse or rodent would learn very quickly to push the button, and then a food pellet would appear, and then he would eat the pellet, and then he would go off somewhere and do something, and then come back and then eat the pellet, and maybe he'd have 2 or 3 of them. And so then they put the animal in the Skinner box with a variable button, which means that he would have to click the button 1 to 10 times in order to get the food. So this is a very interesting experiment, because not only does it explain why we go nuts at the slot machine in Vegas, but also about in dating, right? In marriage relationships or sex relationships where, like you said, the sex is always available, and so it becomes something that is more of a chore than something that you integrate into your intimacy. So what would happen when the mouse would click the button and the food would automatically appear one time? He clicks the button, he would eat, he would go chill for a period, and then come back and get more food. So on a graph, it would sort of go up. He would eat, and then he would chill for a little while, and then he'd come back and eat and chill for a little while. So with the variable button, on the other hand, when he didn't know when the food was going to come, he would click the button. Maybe he'd click it twice and get a pellet. And then he'd click it again straight away without chilling. He would click it again. Maybe he'd have to click it 7 times, and then he'd get a food pellet. So with this box, he didn't chill. There was no chill. He'd click that pellet, and because he didn't know when it was coming the next time, he was obsessed. Same thing again with slot machines in Vegas. So in a marriage situation, if you know the booty is already there, then it becomes less urgent to secure it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned slot machines because as you were talking, I was going to point out the slot machines that I'm looking at right now in the airport. You know, these, yeah, the slot machines work. There they are right over there. I don't know if you can see them.
Okay.
The slot machines work on the exact same reinforcement schedule.
Yep.
You know, it's a variable reinforcement schedule. You know, if you know that you're going to be rewarded over the long term, but you don't know when, and that's the thing that drives the behavior to become extremely repetitious and extremely obsessive.
Right.
You know, if you know that you're going to be rewarded like every fifth spin on the slot machine, well, then you might lazily go through slot spins 1 through 4, and then you get to number 5 and you pull it with a lot of force. You know, it's like if you have a scheduled, like, hey, date night. Friday is date night. Well, Monday through Thursday, it's like I got to put a whole lot of effort into things, but then Friday comes around, like that's your reinforcement schedule.
Right.
And so that becomes less urgent, becomes less pressing. But if you never know when it's going to happen, then of course the behavior becomes a lot more focused, a lot more obsessive.
So to the ladies, go ahead. No, I was just going to say to the ladies, in dating relationships, the way that applies is that just know that if your ass is always available, every time he pushes that button, he's not going to be chasing after it. If you want him to really pursue you, then disappear don't let him find you for 2 or 3 days. Okay? And that's real. That's real. Did you get that?
Absolutely real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, all right, well, listen, and so married sex. Yeah. Okay, so when I see your ear, I'm going to keep talking. So marriage sex, right? So basically people stop having sex or sex goes south just because they're so damn used to it. So, what can we do? What would be the advice to married couples?
Well, the thing about the thing with married people is, and when the sex becomes something that becomes stale or becomes like a chore or whatever, the thing that married people have to do is they have to act like single people. Is that they have to create variety. They have to trick their brains into thinking they're doing something different every time they do it. Maybe not every time, but once in a while, you have to use that variable reinforcement schedule. It's just like be spontaneous. Instead of always doing it in the same room, in the same place, in the same way, you have to initiate it in different environments and to try different things. Use different. Bring in different toys, different outfits. Whatever you can do to try to make things seem a little different, and try to make things different on a regular basis. Now, I know we're talking about variable reinforcement schedule, and so to make things different on a regular basis, well, that sounds more like a regular reinforcement schedule. If every single time it's different, then it becomes predictable again. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to overdo it, or you don't want to develop some kind of fetish where you can only do things during certain circumstances. That's always the advice I give to married people who have that complaint, is just to change it up, do something different.
Keep it spicy. Keep it spicy. Keep it sexy.
Yeah. Right? Or make it, like, if it's always classy and sexy, to make it raunchy and gross.
There it is. Just how I like it.
I mean, whatever you're doing on a regular basis, try doing the exact opposite.
There it is. All right, my thing is, sex. I feel like sex. Sometimes some people are so inhibited when it comes to sex. And I think it comes from our culture. If you're a church goer, I remember feeling so guilty just because I was a Christian and having sex before marriage. Much less being uninhibited and adventurous. But, you grow up, you mature, and, sex ought to be, it's just the two of you in a room together. In fact, and not that I'm a Christian, but, I will tell you the Bible says that the marriage bed remains undefiled. And I had someone explain that to me back in my Christian days. And it's a very sound concept. If you and another person are deciding to be intimate and naked together, then what difference does it make what you guys try to do. Just relax. Try to spice it up. Keep it up. Keep it spicy. Keep it sexy. So listen, we're going to move on to the next segment. We have a special guest, comedian Nikki Carr. Oh my God, the first time I saw this woman on stage was at the Savoy. Chris Spencer was throwing a show down in Inglewood, and the crowd was so loud and rowdy. And the first couple comics went up, and man, you couldn't even hear the guys on stage. And Nikki got up on stage and commanded the audience's attention and rocked it the fuck out. So without further ado, I would like to introduce her to the screen. You guys put your hands together, start clapping. Let me see you on that YouTube comments. Let me see you guys clapping for our special guest, Miss
Straight up,
Nikki
I'm
Carr,
serious.
everybody. Hey, there you are.
Hey,
There you are.
thank you. You know why that happened at the Savoy?
Straight up,
Why
I'm
like
serious.
that?
Because comedy is sexy. It really is.
Well, make that make sense.
Oh, people always say, when you get on stage, why you start off so slow?
Stand up and clap. Straight up, I'm serious.
I give you some. You give me some. When I give you some, you give me some. And we building.
Clap, clap loud.
Big orgasmic finale.
Stand up and clap.
So we all meet outside.
Well,
Straight
listen,
up, I'm
I
serious.
do have, you fucked the shit out of that audience. Because it was just amazing. You guys,
Clap,
you can call
clap loud.
everybody. You can hear across from me where she said, it's
Stand up and clap.
And we're so delighted to have you.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Brian, have you ever met Nikki Carr? You guys know each other?
I don't know.
Clap, clap loud.
Brian's video is go. There he is. See, you guys have never met.
Stand up and clap.
And Brian?
Straight up, I'm serious.
Well, Brian, I'm not sure I can hear you. There you are. You're back. Well, we did some talking before the show. Nikki,
Clap,
and
clap loud.
You had already sort of formulated what your question was.
Stand up and clap.
I it all. And
Straight up, I'm serious.
I know now why everyone says I'm the greatest lover that they've ever had.
Clap,
Because
clap loud.
you said when you don't
Stand
get
up and clap.
what you need out of your relationship.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Keeping your nose
I don't care how long
Clap,
we
clap loud.
are together. Every time we do it
Stand up and clap.
is the reason.
Straight up, I'm serious.
I believe that.
Now, when I was fat, like 140 pounds ago, I would put off.
Clap, clap
And I
loud.
was with someone really sexy. And that's
Stand up and clap.
When you
Straight up, I'm serious. Clap, clap loud. Stand up and clap.
Oh, I'm tired.
Oh, no.
Straight up, I'm serious.
Long day, I had all those issues when I was heavier, but now, I'm hitting like a 25-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Clap, clap loud.
Clap for that. But a second ago you said
Stand
that
up and
the
clap.
reason you have sex was because of
Straight
what
up,
happened
I'm
last
serious.
time. Clarify.
That means, first of all, the first time is the reason for the time.
Clap, clap loud.
Each time I'm down.
Stand up and clap.
Each time we do something, I'm going to try to do something.
Straight up, I'm serious.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I like to top myself.
That's how it ought to be.
You know?
That's how everybody
That's why I don't masturbate.
Clap, clap loud.
I don't masturbate. Nah. I wait.
Stand up and clap.
I wait because I'm so
Straight up, I'm
good
serious.
that I feel like won't nobody be able to hook me up if I start masturbating. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm
Clap,
like,
clap loud.
I know myself. That's another thing. I'm very, very loyal. So if I'm
Stand up and
loving
clap.
myself like that, and then I can't
Straight
love
up, I'm
nobody else,
serious.
then I'm just cheating on myself. I know I'm very
The music is too loud again.
Clap,
Okay.
clap loud.
This is our IT guy. Tim is on the phone. Hi, Tim.
Stand up and clap.
I need to stop the music. Apparently,
Straight up, I'm
there is
serious.
music on this track. Can I use the slider? Can I use
Clap,
the slider?
clap
Tim?
loud.
Is
Is
it
that
there?
me? Because you know sometimes music be coming out of me. Is it me?
No.
Let me check
It's my janky podcast.
Oh, okay.
Technical skills.
I thought it might have been me. You know I'm straight from the drummer's nuts. You know what I'm saying? Music just oozes out of me. I can't control it.
We had a whole format, okay? Everyone warned me. We had a whole format we were supposed to follow, and the show was supposed to be 30 minutes long, and we have like 17 more segments to do and 5 minutes to do them in.
Whoa.
I hope you are all entertained.
We can do them in Spanish. That's faster.
Oh well, this is fun. We still have a few more minutes. And listen, you guys that are tuning in, you guys are my day ones. Just so you know, the people that are out there, we're talking to you. You guys are my day ones.
Day one.
Bear with us, okay? Bear with us.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a part 2 because man, you can't talk about sex in 30 minutes.
You
I can't do sex in 30 minutes. You know what
No.
I can't. I mean, I can. Sometimes you have to. That's when spontaneity comes in. You know, and it's good that I'm a female. Hey, meet me in the bathroom.
I get in the bathroom.
Wow.
Wow.
But I gotta love you.
Hey, listen, Nikki, do you want to talk? You told me last week what you wanted to talk about. Do you want to go there, or maybe we can save that for another
We
time?
listen, we need what you call them things? A biopic or something. You know what I mean? I gotta come back a whole weekly series.
Okay, right. It
For
was
that
some real
one.
deep personal stuff. We're gonna make sure we match you up with the right show topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's summer. We're talking about marriage, sex. You know, it's no mystery. It's a mystery, but it's common knowledge that people know that marriage, you know, sex, maintaining good sex during marriage is tough, right? Keep it sexy, keep it spicy. Just change it up, and so that one, you're putting all your effort in, and two, you are keeping your partner guessing, right? You don't want to get stuck in a routine. I think that's what happens to a lot of people. We get stuck in a routine. It's the same old shit. We know what it's going to be. Keep it spicy, change it up so that you want more of it, right? You want that nigga obsessed, and he wants you obsessed with the D too. So let's keep it that way. So look, I'm looking at this rubric, this format that I'm supposed to be following. We're supposed to be 5 minutes in at this point. We've got the guest segment. What's sexy in the news? All right, so apparently, I read an article that was published in March. So a brand new article. This article says that during this pandemic, apparently people are having less sex. And the reason is for females is because we are not drinking as much.
Well, there's a lot of pregnant chicks out here right now. There's a lot of new babies named COVID-19.
According to this article, women are not drinking as much, and so therefore they're not having as much sex. And then with the men, the same reason applies, that they're not drinking as much, and so they're having less sex. But with the men, there's also a component where they're playing more video games. So the issue with men is that they live with their mothers, they play too many video games, and they're not drinking enough to have the same amount of sex that they were having pre-pandemic. Wow. And then with females, we apparently, there's only one reason. It's because that's the only correlation, is that there's less alcohol use, and so there's less sex happening. So what does that tell you? Like, we got to get drunk first?
I don't think that's
These bitches were drunk when they took the first when the first experiment with the other article where they took 140 women and said that they were satisfied in their marriage sex situations. They probably were drunk when they answered that question.
Wow.
I literally have never met somebody married who's told me that they have excellent sex all the time.
Because I've never been married. And you've never spoken to my spouse.
Well, listen, we have to close the show. We have so much more show.
I'll be back. I'm going to be on episode 7, 11, 12, 13, and 9.
Well, listen, Nikki Carr, you've been great. Where can we find you online?
Comedian Nikki Carr on Instagram, and of course Nikki Carr. I'm just comedian Nikki Carr. You'll find me.
Yeah.
And I have a Dry Bar special out. If you're into Dry Bar, please download the Dry Bar app, or if you already have the app, go to Dry Bar and watch my special. It's called "I Wish These Were Just Jokes." Thank you in advance. Love you.
All right. Bye, Nikki Carr.
Bye.
So I'm getting a message apparently that I have music playing that I'm not aware of.
Again.
I'm gonna turn it off right now. So maybe now you can hear us. Dr. King, you're back. You're back with us. You're still with us.
Am I on?
Yeah, you are. I can hear you. Hey, listen. What do I call you? Because yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I had a hard time hearing or seeing you, but I could see Nikki on. I was listening to her. So
Well,
I'm on now, right?
Yeah, you're on now, and I think the people
Okay.
can see us, but apparently there's music playing really loud. Our intro music was playing. Yeah, we're gonna get it together.
We'll
But
figure
you
it
day
out.
ones out there, you just stay with us, okay? You just hang in there, because by the time this show actually catches on, we're gonna have this down to a wire.
Anybody who's like a long-term fan will be like, I remember that first show when Dr. Brian was in the airport, and you could barely hear each other. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah. But I don't know. What was I going to say?
Well, I know what I'm about to say. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget to promote what we're doing. All right. So I just want to take a second to don't forget to buy a copy of our books. Both of us, Brian and I, are science authors. And Dr. King's new book, The Art of Taking It Easy. Did I get that right?
Yeah. And and of course the Complete Player, which it's a good book because it'll teach anybody who wants to learn how to become a player the necessary skills they need to go out and play the field and work that.
It's true. It's true. Although that was not my purpose in writing the book, and I understood the threat, right? That some guys would like read the book and become stronger players. But really, it's a book about the brain science, the neurology of sex, addiction, love, and self-worth. Love, sex, addiction, and self-worth. And of course, your book, both our books are available on Amazon. Your book, The Art of Taking It Easy, covers how and why laughter is essential for our emotional and physical health. You want to expand on that before we end the show?
No, I think that's good. Plus, they're doing airline announcements right now.
Sure.
So unless any of our listeners want to care about what the next flight out of Vegas is, and it's like, oh yeah, I got all this great information about the flight patterns in Vegas. The live stream, how's that going today? Are we doing that well? Or I know we've had our issues with this, but is the live stream looking good?
I think so. I can't actually see the live. I'm streaming. I'm looking at my encoder images, but we're gonna find out because after the show, now we stream. You can watch us like this live at 5 p.m. on YouTube, but we're available everywhere podcasts are available, so you can listen to us on the podcast platform. Now, after we end this,
I just want to say, even though there's temptation to not post the difficult first day, I really want to hear it. I really want to.
I'm going to post it.
How it came out.
I'm all in. I don't care. It is what it is. And like I said, I don't know how many people are viewing right now, but again, those are our day one. Just stay with us, bear with us. We're going to get this thing tight. This is our first show. This is my first time ever podcasting, period, by the way. So I'm very proud of this whole project, and we're going to get there. I've really followed a lot of my friends' podcasts. Donnell Rawlings is a huge inspiration for me. Wow, what a good job he did on his podcast. And then Jay Phillips is another one. He has like 3 or 4 podcasts going right now, and I've watched his following develop. BT Kingsley is another one that I like to tune in. Brandon Boland. And so, I've seen these people evolve and their platforms evolve, and that's what I want to do with you. I'm super excited to have you. And I also just want to shout out to the viewers that you can email us your sex stories and tell us about a romantic situation that didn't go as planned. And then we may feature you on our show or give you advice on the show. You can email us at mysexstory@thekingabramsshow.com. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at The King Abrams Show. And you're always in the loop. Turn on notifications so you know when we're going live. And listen wherever podcasts are available. Listen, we have so much show written out that we're not going to get to. We're about 4 minutes overtime.
We'll save that. Yeah, we'll save that for next week.
Let's finish it next week. Wonderful. Listen, everybody, thanks for joining the live show. You can listen to us anytime, wherever podcasts are available. We're on iTunes, Spotify, all that shit. And tune in next week at 5 p.m. You can watch us live. I'm going to have another outfit with my cleavage showing. I got to get better at that. I'm not very good at that. So shout out to Nikki Carr. Shout out to Tim Turner, our IT guy, and Joe Feasy for some of the images he did, the graphics art, Joe Fox. Thanks for joining, everybody. This is the King-Abrams Show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Straight up, I'm serious.
And cut.
We're still live.